I had a coaching client send me this video and he said, Brandon, you have to watch this. You're going to love it. So I opened my phone, brings me to Instagram, and there's one of these like internet bros, the backwards hat, the t-shirt, the flip-flops. And I watched the video, and I am no BS. The guy says, these are 5 things that every realtor needs to stop doing if they want to succeed in real estate. And what was number 1 on the list? I'm not kidding. Number 1 on the list was stop dressing up. I'm not kidding. This is why I had to share this with you, because I'm going to get really into this, and this goes much deeper than this, but he was serious. He was talking about not dressing up. In fact, he was talking about, you can wear a baseball hat and flip-flops and shorts. Be comfortable. You have to be relatable, I think he said. It's probably the worst advice on the internet when it comes to client acquisition. Why? Well, here's a question for you. First impressions matter. Every single study done on it says so. This is not my opinion. This is not up for debate. There's so much research. Princeton probably did the best one and talked about the fact that people make snap judgments about your competency in less than 1 second. That's exactly right. When you show up to a listing appointment and you get out of the car, the seller has already judged you. In many, many cases, they have already decided whether or not they're going to hire you on all nonverbal cues. So why would you ever risk the first impression showing up, even if it's, the real you and the authentic you, and even if that was all true? Why would you chance it? Why would you not err on the side of caution? Could you imagine for a second, you go show up and you get yourself into some legal trouble and you're facing 10 years in prison, and you show up to meet with the attorney. You knock on the door. Attorney opens the door. He's got sunglasses on, sideways backwards hat, flip-flops, a wife beater tank top on. Are you kidding me? Don't tell me for a second that you would even consider. It wouldn't even matter how good of an attorney he or she was. You would have major reservations into even having a conversation, let alone hire that person. The same would go for any professional. And that's the crazy part, to have the audacity to call yourself a professional while giving the advice that you can show up at a listing appointment on the behalf of your client in a backwards hat, a tank top, a bathing suit, and flip-flops is absurd. And these are the people that don't want you to hear content like this from me, where it's just the raw truth. Because let me tell you what's going on. So I watch the video, and then I look them up on Instagram. And of course, after doing a little bit of research, find out that, from my research, dude's never sold a house before, cannot find anywhere that he even has an active real estate license. And so on the top of his Instagram, what do you think it said? It said, helping realtors escape the grind. Wait a minute. Real estate is a grind. And it's messages like this that marketers know that will work with agents that don't know any better. And of course, what is all of his advice? No surprise here. It was all on how to make money in real estate without selling any real estate. In other words, it was the opposite of keeping the main thing, which is, how do we master the basics? How do we master the fundamentals such that we can build a profitable real estate sales business through selling houses? Nope. You know the internet buddies, the internet gurus, the internet bros. And I have no ill will towards these virtual brokerages. But of course he was with one, and I'll leave names out of it. And everything that he stands for is to go after the agent who is easy prey. What do I mean? Well, 71% of all licensed real estate agents, as you know, didn't sell a single house last year. Not a one house did they sell. They are easy prey. So all these marketers have to do is come up with messages that they know will speak to your pain point. So they come up with messages like cold calling is dead, and stop doing this, and that thing works, and you can make a lot of passive income, and you can make a whole bunch of money, and all these gimmicks that lure you in because it's like, gosh, I'm in so much pain. I didn't know real estate was going to be this tough. This is hard. I haven't had a closing in a long time. And boom, a message like this, dude, pops up. You don't need to be professional. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. You don't need to talk to people. You don't need to lead generate. You don't need to follow up with people. Heck, you could just wear a backwards hat, sit home all day in your underwear, make some videos, and earn passive income. And you never, ever have to sell a house. And the realtor who's sitting there in so much pain says, wait a minute, what's this all about? And it's the lady in the red dress over and over and over and over again. And these marketers have no remorse. You see it all the time. And new agents especially are the ones that are most susceptible to this message because it's so difficult. And that's the raw truth. This is why they don't want you to see my content. They don't want you to find out the real truth. They want to bamboozle people. I call it the Wizard of Oz, where they want to lead you to believe that things are better than they really are. And guess what? It works. Messages like this work. They say exactly what you want to hear. And what do? Boom, you whip out the American Express. You whip out the Visa, the MasterCard. So quick, thinking you're going to pay this magician some money and magically all your problems are going to go away. Just to be disappointed, just to add on to the graveyard of all the other stuff you've tried, all the other shiny objects that you tried. And they all just sit there and they collect dust. And what are you left with? That's right, going right back to the basics, coming right back to the truth. And the truth is, you need to talk to people. You need to go meet with people. And those are the two things that will result in whether or not you make money in this business or not. This is the truth. This is the truth. And you want to know why most agents are broke? It's not necessarily because they don't sell a ton of homes. Even agents that sell homes are still broke. Why? It's because they continue to pile up shiny objects that don't have a return. And they think, wow, I'll just try this thing, or I'll try that magic pill, or that easy button over here. It's all these messages from all these marketers that know exactly what to say that will work with you. They say exactly what you are hoping to hear. And as a result of that, maybe you even try their little gimmick. Maybe you even, after trying their gimmick, you're able to actually acquire a client. But here's what's going on. And you don't even know it. Because these marketers are master manipulators. Most of them are highly, highly trained in neurolinguistics. And so they brainwash you and you don't even know it. And so when you end up acquiring a client, you do it using the same tactics that lowered you in. And what do you end up with? A listing that doesn't sell. Why? Because what you've been taught to do is to mislead people into believing something is better than it really is, which is the reason why they hired you, and you're left holding the bag. So the very thing you don't want to do in real estate as a listing agent is what's being taught to you, and you don't even know it. This is why most agents I talk to right now have all these listings that aren't selling. Why? Because they don't know how to have a real, honest, transparent conversation with a homeowner without offending them. And so what do? Well, they do the same thing that marketers do to agents that don't know any better. They tell sellers what they think they want to hear in order to win the business. So they tell them their house is worth more than it is. They tell them their house is nicer than it really is. They tell them, oh, this, home's going to fly off the market. Yeah. Let alone their days on market with all their listings is 190 days. This is the same thing marketers are doing to those agents and taking advantage of those agents because they know exactly what to say to get their attention, to get their money. And so we have to, there's no better saying than what Stephen Covey said, which is the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. How do I build a business where I can consistently talk to my ideal client avatars, which in most cases should be people who own homes that want to move up, move down, downsize, upsize, etc., so that you can build a listing inventory, which is the foundation for success in this business. That should be the focus. And just know the very moment somebody says to you that you can get rich without having to sell houses, you know something's not right. Or they start to attack one strategy or another strategy. As soon as somebody says that thing doesn't work, that thing is old school, that doesn't work anymore, you know they're selling you something. The reality is everything works. There are agents that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars cold calling, door knocking, open houses, referrals, social media, buying leads, doing seminars, doing webinars, referral partners, you name it. And there is an agent I can introduce you to who is absolutely crushing it. So the very second you hear a marketer who is not in the business of real estate telling you or giving you a message to make things seem better than they are, it's probably exactly what's going on. It's probably their attempt to bamboozle you, their attempt to take advantage of you in a weak moment, which is right now because the housing market's down, transactions are down, things are way harder than they ever have been, et cetera, et cetera. This is when you are most susceptible to falling prey to one of these people who have no remorse from taking your credit card. So just be careful. You don't need to even listen to me. But what we do all need to realize is there is a truth. It's your choice whether or not you want to accept it. And that reality is this, that you can slice it any way you want. But at the end of the day, you need to have conversations with people every single day that want to buy or sell real estate. And you have to go and meet with those people every single day if you have any shot at making the type of money I think you want to make in this business. Everything else is designed to distract you.